10 minutes with Pastor Bob.
Welcome again to another edition of 10 Minutes with Pastor Bob. I have a really special old friend with me here today. Not that we're so old, but we've just been friends for a long time. Michael Bloodgood, it's good to have you with us today.
It's always great to be with you, Bob.
So, we've been friends for a few years. You've been doing music for a long time.
Yeah. I don't want to think about how many years or how long it's been, but yeah, it's been a while.
It has. Well, Michael, give us a little bit of an update.
Yep.
I've had the privilege of seeing you play a few times,
right.
Just in the last couple of years.
Yes.
You know, we've been together a few times, and I have to say, you guys are better than ever. Oz Fox has joined on the guitar with you, and you got a great team on stage with Paul Beck and just some wonderful music. How does it feel these days as compared to those days long ago?
It's very different. We don't have anything to prove.
Yeah.
We are who we are. We've got our track record, so that's great to not have that on you anymore. And we're doing it, for a different, none of us, we're not, this is not my job. I'm a pastor. That's my job. That's, God's called me to do. But God made it very clear to put the band back together back in 2006. And I think we actually started the band again in 2007. And that's a whole interview in itself, how that came about. And I knew at that time, when Oz and I hooked up back in England, back in 2000, right then the Lord just planted the seed. And I thought, man, if I ever put the band back together, which again is going to be another 6 years for that happen, I'm definitely going to ask Oz if he wants to be a part of it. I mean, we just gelled, and I love his heart. I mean, was that at Meltdown? It was at Meltdown, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, Oz and I were guests that year that David brought us over.
Yeah.
In fact, Oz and Marilyn and I, we would be up till all hours of the morning, just the three of us, just talking and laughing, and we just really bonded with Oz. And Oz, that's just the way he is. I mean, he was that way when we opened up for Stryper in 1985. We're the local yokels from Seattle. But even then, just the most accommodating guy, invited us to a hotel room, and just shucking and jiving. I just thought, man, he's just a great human being.
You bet.
So, that's a little side story there. So when we put the band back together, it's very different. We get to go out and see a lot of folks we haven't seen in years, and what's even more exciting for me is, there's a whole resurgence now amongst young people wanting to hear heavy metal, wanting to hear what I call real guitar players. And so we've got this whole new fan base of teenagers that are discovering the band for the first time. To them, it's all fresh and new, and the Lord using that music again to touch their lives and their friends' lives. So to me, it's just amazing. I just love it.
That's incredible. So what do you have in the future? Have you planned ahead at all?
Yeah, we've been writing for a new record for, since we put the band back together.
Oh, great.
Co-writing. I've actually co-written the song with Dave Zafiro already. I'm very excited about that. And,
well, good.
I don't know if you know Chris Eddy, Dwayne Eddy's son?
I know who Wayne Eddy was, yeah.
Yeah, well, Chris is his son, a great guy and good friend of David's, and David said, "Oh, you're going to love Chris. I'm going to bring him over to me." Well, I did love Chris. He's just an awesome guy.
Great.
The song is probably going to be on the Bloodgood record. Les and I have been, hammering some stuff out. We've brought in Oz as a songwriter because, Oz doesn't get a lot of songwriting credits with Stryper, and so we wanted to bring his input in, and because he is part of the band.
Yeah.
So he's been writing some stuff specifically with Les. Paul and Les have already written another song. So yeah, we're just kind of building it all up, and at this point, of course, just praying for finances and ways to get the CD recorded and get it out there. So yeah, we are definitely, we're back in it, and we want to get fresh and new product out, and so that's where we're headed. Along with doing shows, and God opens up that door.
Well, that's exciting. I'm definitely looking forward to more things in the future from Bloodgood.
In fact, our re-release of the EP is going to have one of the new songs on it. It's just a demo version of a song that Paul and Les wrote called "Man in the Middle."
Oh, great!
Yeah, so we're going to give a little bit of a taste to what's coming down the pike.
Well, I can't wait, and I know there are a whole lot of people listening right now that feel the same way that I do. Michael, I want to personally thank you for all of your years of service to the Lord, and some great music. I appreciate your heart as a friend, as a pastor. You've been pastoring a church there in Seattle for a while now.
Yep.
And God has blessed you and your family. Tell us about your family just a little bit. You've got a couple sons?
I have 3 sons.
Yeah.
So I'm Fred McMurray. That's Fred McMurray. You remember, Bob? My 3 sons.
Sure.
I didn't hear a chuckle or anything, man, because you got to feed me. I'm looking at a screen. You're not there, So.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So, yeah, my wife and I will be celebrating our 35th anniversary in October.
That's great.
Yeah, there wouldn't be a Bloodgood if it wasn't for her. She's the wind beneath my wings.
Yes.
And all 3 of my boys are musicians. Big surprise there.
Yeah.
They're all. My oldest son Paul has been a professional ballet dancer for 11 years now, I believe.
Yeah, and not just professional, but he's really made a name for himself, hasn't he?
Yeah, he really has. He does a lot of film work as well when he's not dancing, and he's a great graphic artist. And he did all the Live in Norway DVD. That was his work. The new Thorin tribal logo we have in the MySpace and all the place, that's his work, and he'll be doing the new release as well. He's just a very talented guy.
Wow, that's great.
And the biggest fan we've got, my own son. So it's pretty awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, he's been, he'll be celebrating. He just celebrated his 6th anniversary with his wife, who's also a professional dancer in the same company. And then my other boys are following in his footsteps. And so, and my 2 youngest are classical trained piano players, and my middle son is also a drummer and a guitar player. And there's a lot of music and dance happening up in the Bloodgood home.
Well, that's great. Well, you've passed on a great legacy, haven't you?
Oh, praise God.
That's great. So, are you a grandfather?
What? Can't hear you. No, I am not a grandfather. I'm still raising my kids at home here. I can't be a grandfather yet.
Well, I guess, okay.
No, that's still coming in the future.
Yeah, it's going to happen one of these days soon, though, isn't it? You're going to be there.
Let's hope so. Can't take anything for granted, but that'll be an interesting bridge to cross. So
sure. Well, it will be. That's right.
Yep.
Well, Michael, thank you so much, and I love you, my friend, and I'm excited for what's ahead and for Bloodgood and your ministry, and we'll look forward to hearing much, much more.
Oh yeah, and I tell you, Bob, your friendship with me is the same way. I remember the first time we met, and as you know too, it's like, is it John 3? John 3. We just how encouraging it is to see brothers still walking for the Lord, still
yes.
encouraging. And as a fellow pastor, I think that's the greatest reward we ever have, is to have friends that have gone the distance. Because I'm sure you've had plenty of discouragement along the way and reasons
sure.
to quit. I have, and just to see you hanging in there, man, it really encourages and blesses me. And I'm still bummed that we didn't get to hang at Meltdown this year.
I know.
Leave it.
Let's just tell the story real fast. Michael and I were supposed to be speaking in England together just a few months ago, and he made it into the country, and they wouldn't let me in. So
it's because of that hair. It's that long hair of yours.
It must be. and I was just there 10 days before that without any problems. But stuff happens. So.
Well, yeah, a lot of. I mean, that's an interview in itself, is why that happened and what's happening in the world that we live in right now. It's definitely changing, and we got in by the hair of our chinny chin chin as well. So
yeah, it's interesting. Travel is becoming more difficult.
It was sure good hanging with Jim. Jim and I hadn't hooked up in a long time too, and we had an absolute blast.
I'll bet. Jim is a lot of fun, isn't he?
Yeah, in fact, we've got this infamous picture of us at the Cadbury factory in England with like 10 pounds of chocolate bars in front of us. I'm still getting comments on it.
That's great. That sounds like him. We're talking about Jim Laverty, by the way, from Barron Cross. But he's a nut, and he is a lot of fun, isn't he?
Oh, he's a great guy. I love him to pieces, man.
Well, God bless you, Michael. Thank you again.
Bob, always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure.
Always. Thank you, bud.
Okay, man. Love you, man.
Love you, too. Bye-bye.
Bye.